Large purse seine fishing and harvesting is one of the large-scale industrial fishing methods, requiring smooth coordination between people, boats and specialized equipment to achieve the highest efficiency. Before starting the trip, the captain and crew will carefully check the condition of the ship, engine system, positioning equipment, radio communication, and prepare enough fuel, fresh water and food reserves for the entire multi-day voyage. Large purse seine nets are usually made of durable synthetic fibers, hundreds of meters long and several dozen to more than 100 meters deep, neatly rolled on board to be ready to deploy when needed. When going to sea, the ship will use GPS positioning devices, radar and modern fish finders to search for moving schools of tuna. Sailors often rely on experience and natural signals such as flocks of seabirds flying, foaming water or changing water color to determine the location of the fish. When a school of tuna is detected, the main ship will approach and launch a small boat carrying a seine net around the school of fish. The net is quickly released to form a closed circle, surrounding the entire area where the fish are swimming. The sinking rope at the bottom of the net helps keep the net at the desired depth. Then the sailor will pull the sinking rope back to close the mouth of the net, not allowing the fish to escape. This process requires dexterity and speed because tuna are fast swimmers and can disperse if disturbed for too long. When the net is closed, the sailor will gradually narrow the circle, use a crane or hydraulic winch to pull the net and gather the fish near the ship's side. The harvesting stage takes place by using a large net or hydraulic suction machine to bring the tuna onto the deck. The fish are classified immediately. Those that meet commercial standards will be processed quickly to keep the quality of the meat fresh, usually by cutting out the organs, washing and putting them in a cold storage or quick freezing at -40 degrees Celsius. The fish that do not meet the standards or are injured will be used for other purposes such as processing animal feed or producing fish sauce. Throughout during this process, the crew must work continuously and coordinate closely to ensure both large yields and safety for people and equipment. After the net is retrieved and the fish have been processed, the ship will continue to move to another area to repeat the process. Thanks to this technique, the tuna harvest per trip can be up to tens or even hundreds of tons, serving domestic consumption and export needs. However, the large purse seine method also requires strict management measures to avoid overfishing and damage to the marine ecosystem. Many fishing vessels now apply regulations to release unwanted species or immature tuna, contributing to long-term resource protection and maintaining the ecological balance of the ocean in addition to technical factors. Catching and harvesting tuna with large purse seine nets also depends a lot on weather factors and the experience of the crew. During long trips at sea, the captain must regularly monitor meteorological forecasts and wind and wave conditions to decide on the direction of travel. Because tuna often move along warm ocean currents and plankton-rich water areas, which are also the gathering points of many small fish species for their food. An effective fishing trip often starts at dawn when the light is just enough to observe the sea surface. At this time, tuna often float near the surface to hunt, creating favorable conditions for deploying the purse seine. The process of encircling a school of fish requires good coordination between the boat operator, the net dropping team and the line pulling team. Any delay or error can cause the school of fish to escape. After closing the net, the crew often uses gentle ship control techniques to keep the net stable. avoiding waves that can panic the fish and damage the net. When collecting the net, healthy tuna will try to swim in circles and jump out of the water to find a way out. So the sailors must work quickly but carefully to avoid crushing the fish. Because the quality of the meat will be reduced if the fish are seriously injured or die before freezing. During the harvesting stage, the hydraulic pump system or large net-mounted cranes will work continuously to bring the fish to the deck. Then they are immediately transferred to the processing area, where workers will remove blood and organs, wash with cold seawater and put them in deep freezers. For high-end export shipments, the tuna is also weighed, checked for fat and freshness before being packaged. During this process, the ship must maintain a stable storage temperature to keep the fish meat at the highest quality when it arrives at port. When the ship returns to land, the tuna will be transported immediately to processing plants or brought straight to the auction market, where fish that meet sashimi standards can be sold at very high prices, bringing in revenue, large for fishermen. However, to maintain this profession in the long term, many fleets have combined the use of production monitoring equipment, complied with fishing quotas and applied methods to minimize the bycatch of other species. Thereby both protecting aquatic resources and ensuring stable income for the fishing community. In addition, catching and harvesting tuna with large purse seine nets also requires regular maintenance and care for all equipment and support means. Because large purse seine nets have a complex structure, including many mesh panels, lead wires, buoys, steel or aluminum rings, just one tear or broken wire during use can also cause fish to escape, causing significant loss in output. So after each harvest, the crew often spreads the entire net on the deck to check and immediately patch any damage. The winch system, hydraulic crane, fish finder and suction pump must also be regularly maintained to ensure smooth operation when going to sea. In terms of operation, large purse seine vessels usually have a crew of 15 to 30 people. Each person takes on a fixed position such as operating the machine, dropping the net, collecting the net, operating the crane, processing fish or cold storage. The harmony and understanding between members is an important factor to optimize fishing performance. Catching. During the working process, in addition to ensuring output, fishermen must also strictly comply with safety regulations, especially when deploying nets in conditions of strong winds and waves, because just a small mistake can cause workers to be caught in the net or fall into the sea. In terms of economics, the method of catching tuna with large purse seine nets brings a very high income for effectively operating vessels. The output of each trip can be enough to supply both the domestic market and export to countries with high demand such as Japan, Korea, the US and European countries, in which yellowfin tuna and big-eye tuna are the two most popular species due to the quality of meat suitable for processing sashimi and sushi. Along with economic benefits, this method also faces many criticisms about the risk of overfishing, affecting the wild tuna population. Especially when some fleets have not strictly complied with the quota. This has prompted international organizations and governments to issue mandatory regulations on the minimum fish size to ensure the natural regeneration of fish populations. Many advanced fleets have installed underwater observation equipment and used more precise netting techniques to reduce the bycatch of other species such as dolphins. sea turtles and sharks, while also applying catch data storage solutions to make fishing activities transparent, contributing to sustainable and responsible fisheries in addition to the technical and management factors. Catching and harvesting tuna with large purse seine nets is also associated with a complex logistical process to ensure that the product reaches consumers with the best quality. After the tuna is deep frozen on board, it will be stored in ice-filled cold storages or specialized air freezing systems. Each storage has a temperature sensor for continuous monitoring. When the ship arrives at port, all the fish will be unloaded by cranes or specialized forklifts. Put into intermediate cold storage or transported immediately by refrigerated containers to processing plants. Here, the tuna is defrosted in a controlled low-temperature environment to avoid dehydration and preserve the meat texture. Then, steps such as cutting, filtering the meat, removing bones and skin, and sorting by size and quality are carried out. The sashimi standard meat is often vacuum-packed and shipped to high-end consumer markets by air to ensure freshness, while the rest is processed into canned food, fish, frozen fillets or other value-added products. In parallel, data on fishing trips such as coordinates, yields, fish species, harvest dates and times are also recorded and reported as required by international fisheries management organizations to prove legal origin, which not only helps prevent illegal fishing but also creates a competitive advantage for products in the global market. In some countries, large fishing ports also hold auctions immediately after the ship arrives. Here tuna with large weight, intact body and bright red meat color are often bought by traders and restaurants at very high prices. Creating a vibrant atmosphere typical of commercial fishing. However, in order to maintain long-term resources, many fishing communities have cooperated with scientists and conservation organizations to study the life cycle and migration habits of tuna, thereby building reasonable exploitation plans, minimizing pressure on natural populations. They also invest in new preservation technology and fishing methods innovations to save fuel, reduce emissions and increase the economic value of each voyage, all of which not only help protect the marine environment but also ensure a sustainable future for the large purse seine tuna fishery in addition to the above main activities. The tuna fishing and harvesting profession with large purse seine nets is also related to the social and cultural factors of coastal communities. In many countries, especially in areas with long-standing tuna fisheries, fishing ports are not only places for trading but also centers of community activities, where generations of fishermen share their experiences at sea, net operation techniques and fish processing secrets to achieve high quality. Many young people who grew up by the sea were taught by their fathers how to recognize the signs of fish schools, how to observe seabirds or watercolor to locate accurately. They also learned how to work in groups in harsh conditions, because this profession requires health, endurance and a high spirit of solidarity. In some areas, the return of tuna boats after a long voyage at sea has become a major event. People flock to the port to welcome the boats, participate in unloading and buying and selling directly, creating a bustling atmosphere that lasts from early morning until noon. In addition, tuna fishing activities with large purse seine nets also contributes to the formation of a modern fishing supply chain. From suppliers of fuel, ice, nets and fishing equipment, to processing, transport and export enterprises, creating jobs for thousands of direct and indirect workers. However, this industry also faces major challenges such as climate change, changing ocean currents and tuna distribution areas, rising fuel costs, increasingly strict international regulations on quotas and fishing methods. In response, many fleets have applied satellite positioning technology, ash fishing vessel monitoring systems and electronic logbooks to optimize routes and increase transparency, while testing environmentally friendly nets, reducing the possibility of causing injury to unwanted species. It is the combination of long-standing traditions and technological innovation that has helped the large purse seine tuna fishery not only survive but also thrive, making important contributions to food security, the marine economy and preserving the cultural identity of the region's fishing community. In terms of the environment, tuna fishing and harvesting with large purse seine nets are gradually being improved to minimize negative impacts on the marine ecosystem. One of the controversial issues in the past was that purse seine nets accidentally caught non-target species such as dolphins, sea turtles, sharks or small juvenile fish. This not only caused environmental damage but also affected the image of the fisheries industry in the international market. To overcome this, many fleets have used dolphin-repelling devices or adjusted the timing of net dropping to avoid areas where these species are present. Some companies have also applied the selective net technique with mesh size and depth carefully calculated to catch only adult tuna, while minimizing other species entangled. In addition, the use of smart positioning buoys with underwater sensors also helps fishermen know the exact density and size of fish schools before deploying the net, thereby reducing the number of ineffective net drops and saving fuel. Economically, these improvements not only help protect long-term resources but also increase the commercial value of the product. Because the international market, especially Japan and Europe, increasingly prioritizes purchasing shipments certified for sustainable fishing by organizations such as MSC, Marine Stewardship Council, many modern fishing ports have implemented electronic traceability systems, allowing customers to check information about the fishing trip, time, location and fishing method with just a QR code printed on the product packaging. This creates high trust and expands export opportunities for tuna caught with large purse seine nets. In the long term, the combination of strict management, technological innovation and environmental protection awareness of fishermen will determine the sustainability of this method, ensuring that tuna fishing not only brings profits today but also maintains resources for future generations, while contributing to preserving the abundance and balance of the ocean in addition to the economic benefits and conservation efforts. The method of catching and harvesting tuna with large purse seine nets is also a clear demonstration of the combination of human labor and modern technology in the fisheries industry. On each voyage, the captain acts as a strategic commander, continuously analyzing data from fish finders, radars, ocean current maps and weather forecasts to choose the optimal route, while the sailors have to work continuously for many hours in harsh conditions, sometimes staying up all night to promptly deploy the net when detecting a school of fish. The rhythm of life on board therefore takes place almost non-stop. All activities from eating, resting to equipment maintenance are scientifically organized to ensure health and work efficiency. When the sea is rough, the waves are meters high, controlling the ship and handling the net requires absolute concentration, because just a small mistake can lead to damaged nets, loss of schools of fish or endanger human life. When harvesting, each tuna weighing from several tens to hundreds of kilograms are brought to the deck. The shiny fish body, sharp fins, firm muscles show the strength of the top predatory fish in the ocean. Those that meet high commercial standards will be processed extremely quickly. Within just a few minutes they will be dissected, washed and put into deep freezer to keep their freshness, while those that do not meet the standards will be classified separately for other processing purposes. After many days or weeks at sea, when the cold storage is full of fish, the ship will return to port, carrying the fruits of the hard work of the entire crew. From there the value chain of tuna continues to be expanded through the stages of auction, processing, packaging and distribution, creating revenue not only for fishermen but also for a series of related industries. All of this shows that tuna fishing with large purse seine nets is not simply a seafood exploitation activity, but also a complex economic, social system, closely linked to the life, culture and sustainable development of coastal communities. See, not only stopping at the commercial scale, the fishing and harvesting of tuna by large purse seine also contributes to promoting international cooperation in the management and conservation of aquatic resources. Because tuna is a long-distance migratory species, moving through many sea areas under the sovereignty of different countries and international waters, which makes exploitation require coordination between countries, regional fisheries organizations and international agreements. Associations such as WCPFC, Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission, or IOTC, Indian Ocean Tuna Commission, set out regulations on quotas, seasons, minimum fish size and production reporting requirements, in order to maintain tuna populations at a sustainable level. Large purse seine fleets wishing to operate in these waters are required to fully comply with regulations and install voyage monitoring devices, thereby making fishing activities more transparent and helping to prevent illegal fishing. In some countries, fishermen are also encouraged to participate in eco-labeling programs for tuna products,